President Trump and Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden were in the battleground state of Iowa where they traded fighting words. I'm Laura Podesta with a look at how the president and the current Democratic 2020 frontrunner are going on the offensive.
A semi-truck hauling around 40,000 pounds of bees crashed in this ditch. How many bees were saved? And just what that truck was doing here in the first place.
6:30 on this Wednesday. Chilling and Missy O'Malley with you. We'll have that bee update in a moment. Meantime, our top story this half hour. President Trump and Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden went after one another yesterday, trading insults.
Laura Podesta has more on the escalating war of words between the two.
It may have been a preview of the 2020 presidential election. Yesterday, President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden took aim at each other in the early battleground state of Iowa.
I believe that the president is literally an existential threat to America.
Joe Biden thought that China was not a competitor of ours. Joe Biden is a dummy.
The president even suggested Biden was unwell.
He's a different guy. He looks different than he used to. He acts different than he used to. He's even slower than he used to be.
There are still 237 days to go until the Iowa caucuses and 511 until the general election. But a new Quinnipiac University poll shows Biden with a 13-point lead over the president. What's more, CBS News has learned that internal Trump campaign polling shows Biden ahead in several states that Mr. Trump needs to win, including Florida, North Carolina, and Arizona.
I'd rather run against, I think, Biden than anybody. I think he's the weakest mentally. And I like running against people that are weak mentally.
We can overcome 4 years of this presidency. It'll go down in history as an aberration.
President Trump ended his day at a fundraiser outside Des Moines and did not mention Biden at any point. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Now, a recent poll of Iowa voters showed Biden in the front with 24% of support among Democrats, trailed by Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren.
6:32, meteorologist Carson Vickroy joins us. A lovely couple of days here, but it sounds like change may be coming in the next few hours.
Well, the good news is the mornings are going to be lovely.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Yep. Not only because I get to be at the desk with you guys,
Oh,
but the weather, it's also going to be nice. I
I
mean,
did read that memo.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not buying you donuts, Carson.
That's what I was going for. Satellite and radar, nothing going on across the Treasure State. We do have some showers up in Canada, but 40s and 50s are the current reading. It's a beautiful start in Butte, 42 degrees, and temperatures will be in the upper 70s this afternoon, but we do have a chance for some storms after about 6 o'clock, 45 to start at Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport in Belgrade. That's a live look at Montana State University, and I do expect highs in the upper 70s. And we do have a relatively active weather pattern on the way. We'll talk more about it coming up in my full forecast, which is later on Montana this morning. Missy?
Thank you so much, very sweet Carson Vickroy. We just love him. 6:33 now. For a period of time, Durston Road and Gooch Hills intersection was closed, but now it's open once again after a semi-truck hauling more than 400 beehives crashed on the night. This was Monday night.
Yes.
On the side of the road of that corner.
Yeah, traffic had to be diverted around the site for hours so crews could get it all cleaned up. MTN's Cody Boyer went back to the crash scene, and he has the latest.
Now, from my vantage point here in the ditch where it actually happened, you can still see quite a bit of the aftermath from last night. Now, you can also look close at the ground near where it happened and see hundreds of bees, many dead, some are still alive. Now, crews say the bees were an issue on their own, on top of there being a language barrier between the two drivers that were actually inside the truck. Still, the beekeeper called to the scene says it was incredible that this ended well.
It was a great ending to what could have been just a disaster.
The first problem was easy to see. Swarms of bees covering the double tractor trailer on Durston Road last night.
The occupants, the drivers of the truck, were very fortunate that they walked away uninjured.
Steve Thorson, experienced beekeeper and owner of Montana Honey Bee Company, was called in to help.
There was talk about bringing the fire department in and foaming them. I tried to talk them out of that and say, let's try to save them if we can.
Thorson says Mother Nature worked in their favor.
It was a cool day. The other big thing was when the truck was uprighted, it was almost dark. And when it's dark out, the bees are a lot more docile.
Thorson adds, if you do the math, that's over 130 million bees altogether.
About 4 pounds would be about 12,000. That's a lot.
Apiarists like Steve say losing only a single pound of bees out of 40,000 is pretty amazing. That's only about 1,000 bees.
There's 412 hives on that truck. I would be really surprised if more than 2 of them were damaged.
And according to Thorson, they shouldn't have been driving there in the first place.
They had no business being on Durston and Gooch Hill. And evidently they got mixed up with Google Maps, and they should have been going down Huffine.
Gallatin County Sheriff Brian Gutkin agrees this could have been avoided.
It's speed. You know, I mean, the whole idea is to drive safely, know what's in front of you, and to be driving accordingly.
A few stings aside, he adds this could have ended a lot worse.
We could have ended up killing millions and millions of bees yesterday. Didn't have to.
Thorson adds the cargo was worth over $100,000 and also notes that no one in the immediate area was in any other danger, despite some of the crew having some bee stings. Now, despite what happened, the bees are on their way back to North Dakota. In Bozeman, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Well, that ended much better
One of the
than
few
we...
with bee stings, by the way, there, Cody Boyer as well.
Yeah, did he get a couple?
Yeah, he did.
Cody. Part of the job, right?
That is part of the job.
In other news, a hearing will be held this week in Butte to listen to any objections about granting a liquor license to a truck stop that plans to locate nearby Ramsey.
The Butte Archives will host a hearing by the Montana Department of Revenue to hear arguments for and against the request for a liquor license from Love's Travel Stops. Many people from the small community of Ramsey object to the truck stop moving there. Hearing will begin at 9 o'clock Thursday morning at the Archives building. That's 17 West Court Street.
And a groundbreaking ceremony was held on Tuesday morning in Butte for a new townhouse neighborhood. The crew plans to start construction this summer. A Helena-based business plans to build 28 homes off of Hanson Road in a new neighborhood called Opportunity Townhomes. Contractors hope to have the first homes built by September.
Over the weekend, a family in Bozeman lost their home, 2 of their dogs to a devastating house fire. Now, the American Red Cross says a tool that could go a long way to help prevent things like this is a smoke alarm. After hearing about the fires like that and other cases in Montana, the Red Cross says Bozeman homeowners have a free option that could help with some of that. No questions asked, the Red Cross can provide free smoke alarm installations for anyone living in Bozeman. Specifically, volunteers there say a single smoke alarm can reduce the probability of fire by 50%.
We will go out into your homes, we will check your batteries, we will install new ones, we will give you a sample of what the sound of your smoke alarm is if you've never heard it before, and if necessary, we'll put in new smoke alarms for you. Your chances of having a home fire are greater than ever winning the lotto.
Now again, this is for Bozeman homeowners specifically at this time. You can find out on how to take part on the program on our website. And if you want to know what a smoke alarm sounds like, just come over to my house anytime I'm cooking.
Fair enough. Maybe I'll be over after the meal's over.
Yeah. In other news here on this Wednesday morning at 6:38, Senator Jon Tester says if the newly reintroduced Blackfoot Clearwater Stewardship Act is going to become law, it will need to have a more firm support from Montana's other political leaders and bipartisans to work in Washington, D.C.
As MTN's Dennis Bragg tells us, the state's senior senator says time is running out to make that act a reality.
We've heard of Hollywood rebooting movie franchises in order to not only restore a fan base but find new fans. And in essence, that's what started with Senator Jon Tester's announcement that he was reintroducing the Blackfoot Clearwater Stewardship Act, that sweeping proposal to set aside new wilderness in the upper Blackfoot Basin while promoting clean water, resource management, and recreation. The legislation he introduced in 2017 did manage to score a committee hearing last year, but didn't make it to the floor. Tester tells me he's still optimistic about winning support in the Senate and convincing Senate leadership to bring it to the floor for a vote.
Talk about the advantages. There's a lot of things we can talk about this bill being having positive impacts both in quality of life and economically. And if we're able to do that, get it out of committee. And once we get it out of committee, then I can put pressure on McConnell and Schumer to get it to the floor, especially McConnell. And or we can attach it to a bill that goes through because will have been heard by the Committee of Jurisdiction and passed out of that committee.
Tester feels the benefits are convincing ones, but it will take more aggressive positions from Governor Steve Bullock, Senator Steve Daines, and Representative Greg Gianforte to help make the case in D.C.
And it's really, really hard to get a piece of legislation attached unless you're in leadership to a bill unless it's gotten out of committee. And that's varied a little bit over the last year, and every time it's happened, it hasn't been good. So
Tester says the objective is to get the bill to pass through committee because he says right now it's hard to get bills attached to other legislation in the current political climate.
this is going to end up adding dollars to our economy, employing more people, and improving quality of life, and it'll be around for our kids and our grandkids too. It is a win on all levels.
At the kickoff Friday, Tester urged local supporters of the Blackfoot Act to get busy writing letters so that others can see the broad base of support for the set-aside and what it means to the future of the Blackfoot Valley.
This ecosystem's not going to be around. I don't think it'll be around another 10 years if we don't do something about it. And I think our kids and our grandkids deserve better.
On the banks of the Blackfoot River, Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
Dennis tells us Senator Tester believes the heated debate over public lands management may be hindering efforts to get the Blackfoot Stewardship Act actually approved.
As you would say, more to follow. That's right. We do have to take a quick break.